very well with each other, and it's almost like we have nothing to do with it. Like, that's how it usually feels. Sometimes it really, really hits, and sometimes it doesn't. We often don't play together, or we don't usually have a visual. Brian doesn't usually have a visual component. Sometimes I don't want to start speaking for you, but you tour so much. I think that's a really interesting aspect to what you do, is how you tour. And this person tours like all over the country on trains, and is collaborating with so many different kinds of people and so many different communities, that usually when he comes back from a tour and we get together like and have a cocktail or talk about the experiences that he just had, like that gives me so much secondhand inspiration. Like I am just filled to the brim. So then when we do end up joining in our art together, they just end up kind of talking, having their own kind of conversation. And I think it's just bonding. When you have a collaborator that you bond with and you just are able to talk about how you're making art, I think the work starts to translate without you. I don't know.
Yeah, we call each other a lot about projects, which I think is a big thing. There's like an open dialogue, and there's like nothing off the table, and it's like we also do what we can to hire each other on other projects. So there's just like this constant back and forth, and that exchange has been pretty cool. Yeah. I think collaboration is extremely important, because like the creative element, the critical element, and then the conversation is all part of this conversation, which is like past, present, and future. So it's like you're trying to, kind of participate with each other within this like very fucking big global and time and space conversation. We're talking to artists that are like, like Maya Deren, fucking
one of my favorite filmmakers.
But like a lot of, it's an endless list of people, and the touring helps, and presenting work in different cities helps. Like thank you for inviting us to Seattle, because it's nice to, connect and share and like reflect on each other's work, and that's the whole point of this. Yeah. Without that, this is completely fucking meaningless.
Without artists talking to each other.
The exchange, actual conversation, without this actual conversation, this whole,
It's pretty isolating.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of you's in a dark room forever, and the other's like on a train most of the time, right? Like you are by yourself. Yeah, constantly. No, I did a lot of what I do with On Poetry, and a lot of the reasons why I talk about it, Poetry Lab, On Poetry, same thing essentially. But I always think it's crazy when we live amongst artists and the artists don't speak, especially when like you have so many different artists of different mediums. And I think what we're actually doing is all very similar, except for how it actually manifests itself technically, right? Like I hear a lot of what you do and like the same process here, right? A lot of what I do kind of reflects what you do in a similar way. Maybe like we go to our different extremes and our different levels, but I mean, I think we're more or less attacking it from probably the same vantage, right?
Yeah, totally.
Especially if you're thinking about it in terms of like talking throughout time.
Yeah,
because there's like so much of what I think is like surreal or avant-garde. It's like, well, we're not really doing anything new, right?
We're absolutely.
Yeah,
over 100-year-old ideas that are just repeating and repeating and repeating, and it's up to us to interpret it differently and have these exchanges to figure out new ways of interpretation that hopefully innovate the thing outside of that past element of what it was. Further than the phrase of neo, further than the phrase of new, further.
Yeah, 100%. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, totally.
As long as we're fucking pulling at the same strings again, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, which is like the notion of pushing the field.
Yeah. Do you find, like, what do you take away when you tour? Do you find that same kind of theme throughout, like, of people pulling at different strings that same way?
Yeah, I meet a lot of like really amazing artists who are constantly pushing the field, pulling different threads and putting different threads together, and either by curating, or holding down spaces for large amounts of time for the community, improvisers, the first thing that comes to my head is like Rise in DC, this amazing fucking DIY space out there.
Yeah.
That's
In Washington, D.C.
yeah, that's just holding it down so hard. But they like, I don't know. There's these kind of like root pillars, of every fucking city that just like hold it down. It switches and it changes, and that's exciting and that's important. There is no fucking duration at all in any of this. So it's just like embracing that as part of that conversation that we're, involved in.
That's the thing that's really important. It's like durationally, like anything and everything can hit an audience like when it wants to. There is a notion of like trend, but when you're really dedicated and you have community and space to like push your art, and then other people are around you getting like pulled into that because you're pushing that out, like that's when the tension occurs, and that's when the challenges occurs, and those actually do open up like new thought trains, and then you carry those like to those pillar communities. Like it's about everyone really just not making it so much about ego, but making it about challenge and curiosity, and like, and that's, if you're gonna put your ego anywhere in your art, just like put it in the process, put it in the challenge, put it in like how you're talking to yourself first and foremost, because that translates, and how you're talking to everybody else who you work with, and then taking it other places. It's like so important to break out of your bubble and make yourself super uncomfortable. Then you'll have like really grand ideas. I think.
I knew you've been going to school. Is that what you did? Is that part of the reason, like to make yourself uncomfortable in that way? Putting yourself in an academic kind of setting for a crazy artist?
Yeah, I did like an inverted path where I spent like my first decade not in school, making DIY art and like just being a total riff-raff kid. And then when I got in my 30s, I was like, okay, now it's time to go to school. Which I think a lot of people are doing. It's pretty common these days. And I think that structure, because you know exactly what you want, you don't really get so jazzed by all these different mediums or just the school itself. Like there's so many overstimulations you can jump into if you're doing design or creative work, right? But I think going back to school when you're older, or when you're more focused on a medium or what you want to be doing, you are just like, you're just on fire. Like you can just go, and you can really execute if you're dedicated, and you can just do exactly what you want to do. Finally, right? Like, but it takes some play to figure that out.
Just a little bit of play,
A little bit of play, but once you like figure it out, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna put myself like into the rigmarole of school.
It's so funny to me because you all seem like your finished products are so constructed, it seems like sometimes, right? So this idea of play is interesting to me. Like it is in the process, it seems, more than like the ultimate. Because like, I mean, I just go up with nothing usually. You know what I mean? Like there's the thing where, but you all, it seems like you're going up with nothing, but no, you're actually really highly constructed, right?
I mean, there's like this habitual training of intuition.
Okay, yeah.
If you follow that, and then that leads to like this practice. So it's like you have to really trust and experiment with your intuition. Like I do these like, random cycling rides where I just like, it's wherever I want to go, in kind of like a situationist sort of way, this kind of like free play. But then you bring it back to the instrument or the page or the film or something like that, and you're like, Helly's been working on stuff where she's been erasing film and then either scratching it, painting it, or using
this one I wrote the whole thing.
Yeah, so it's just like the idea, like this idea of like destroying the canon behind us is also relevant in like destroying our own work, and it's part of its process.
Destroying the canon, right? I always think of it, I mean, which is such a small idea, right? Destroying the perceptions you hold all the time. Right?
Of poetics in general.
Yeah.
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 100%.
I think that's the most uncomfortable thing. It's like if you've ever done a painting or something, try destroying it. Or make a film that fails, utterly fails, like horrible. Just do something that's entirely like so perfect that it just can't exist. That it can't
It just
exist.
collapses under its own weight.
And then see what you gain from there and glean from there, and like how that kind of sets you free. It's an unusual route to take because so many artists just get really into like framing their work or wanting their work to be seen and mean something. And
This is a really good point, and a really big problem I meet with a lot of poets on the road and shit. And there's like a lot of errors in collaboration and the forming of collaboration because there's so much framework involved and framework to be presented. And it presents a lot of like walls. Personally, I prefer none. Yeah. Like no introductions. Like
fuck it, let's just go.
Let's just go.
Yeah.
Like you said, popcorn style. Just like just people come up and read and do their thing.
Yeah.
Like I had a really successful time of doing that in Detroit recently, and it was fucking dope. It was dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it coming, and everyone just left happy. And the whole performance only took like an hour 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Everyone just took their time. Everyone was just trying to find their groove, the pocket or whatever.
Yeah. And then everyone gets to witness that finding.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. And then just, I think we've talked enough, but also talk about the South Sound Experimental Film Festival real quick.
Yeah. If you are into visual art or into music performance, we hold an experimental film fest at the Northwest Film Forum in November, yearly, and our submissions are open right now. And if you'd like to submit, we have a flyer over there that has all the information on it. Or if you know anyone who's just starting out, it's a gem because a lot of people cherry pick from this festival for other festivals, but we really give precedence to first timers, really out of the box ideas. Like Eric has screened there.
Yeah, is that a good metric?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there. It's awesome.
How long do you have to those? How long do you?
Oh, the deadline?
Yeah.
October 31st. Yeah. So
Sick.
submissions closed, or we announced, sorry. They close October 15th. We announced the group October 31st. It's 2 nights, so we can take a lot of films. We usually screen about an hour and a half each night of just short films, under 30 minutes. And it's just a chance, honestly, to show work in a way where you can get feedback, you can see it on a big screen. If you're not in an academic program, it's like kind of comparable because you'll get the same kind of like intimidation factor of showing your work, and then afterwards we try to meet up and we do try to talk about it and share with other filmmakers and really push each other. And a lot of people keep generating friendships and work after this film festival, so it's kind of a neat community to have. So anyways, talk to me later if you want any more information about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. Let's do something crazier.
Yeah.
Everybody, let's welcome to the stage with us Veronica Martinez, everybody.
Yeah. So let's can we have a minute to do that real quick? All right,
We
cool.
might have to do some sort of weird sound setup. We thought we were going to have 2 amps.
Plug this into your output. Maybe the other end. We're gonna make this shit work.
It's my output, like all the pedals and shit?
Yeah. Right. Is that you?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Check. Mic check. Check. Good? We good?
Feel good about that?
leather bones, shiny vinyl, a twinkle in their eye, or reflective chainmail beating against drumming clavicles. Move your feet. Don't let them stop you. They will fill your head with feathered nonsense, the inescapable dark of Poe's own lamentations. Dance instead. Dance. Flyers on the table, next to all the hopes and dreams we've thrown away. Fray the charging cable, and remember how your desk looked yesterday. Twisting me, flipping me, inside out. Floral lamp from Goodwill, lights the empty hall when we hit the town. Red wax on the windowsill, watch it break the glass and travel down. Twisting me, listening for the sound. Basil with long water to feed the soil we tend to in our sleep. Hardwood lined with dried flowers for all the promises you need to keep. Twisting me, anchoring me to the ground. You squirm when you try to stand. Maybe this is your promised land. A bedroom buried in rose bushes. A home that holds your hand. Womanhood without, solitary confinement, naked shoulders dozing off to the hum of my sandy Jeep stalling in the driveway. The love boils from your toes, from your rubber flip-flops melting on the asphalt, to earlobes licked, bitten, ripped, scabbed, pierced. You want to pull it all out, along with your tongue. The car radio will play and you will always me in front of the silver carousel, a text for my mother to be the mother I've always been. I try holding my blood in both of my hands, retaining its crinkled smile and hidden eyes, cupping it in my palms, but it slips through my fingers and slithers under the table. I'm on my hands and knees collecting it, drop by drop. credit score.